Okay, Eric, Jeff here. I'm going to do a quick recap of your lesson from today. The first thing I want you to notice is that the video on the left is your swing before any instruction was given, and the video on the right side of your screen is after instruction. First thing that you should notice quite considerably is in your setup. The picture on the left shows, very, very narrow stance, feet squared off, weight centered, if not on the right side of your body. I'd say you're pretty much centered, and you can tell by the yellow square that I've drawn on each of the screens. The yellow square starts down around your ankle bones and extends up toward the top of your head. We're going to use that to sort of reference where your body is at throughout the golf swing. But you'll notice a tremendously different picture on the right relative to that box. We've got a wider stance. We have our feet flared out more. We have the handle of the golf club leaning considerably more forward. And we also have more weight on our left side of our body. That's evident because more of our body is visible outside the left part of the yellow box. As we put the club into motion, I'm going to play the video on the left first so you can just kind of see the swing. And I'll let it play through and let you take a look. You can see the dramatic weight shift moving into the right side of your body. At the top of your backswing, I mean, you've moved all of the weight, completely away from the target line and sort of this direction here. That's pretty evident by, your knees. Your left knee actually caves in and moves almost past your right knee. This causes a whole host of problems. Number one, we talked about considerably. Your low point is moving way back behind the golf ball, and the focus of today's lesson was really to teach you to control the low point of your swing. Now, Eric, as we talk more about controlling the low point of your swing, we kind of categorized that, how to do that in a certain couple of steps. Number one, we talked about weight forward, the handle forward, the left shoulder down, right knee flexing, right knee straightening. Now, if you take a look at the picture on the left, I want you to notice where the top of your head is. At address, it's just right at the top of the yellow box, but as you take the club away, because you are not turning your shoulders on a steeper angle and side tilting, you're turning your shoulders very flat to the ground. That is causing you to actually break your spine angle and stand up. Notice how high your head works high and back. It moves completely out of the box. Okay? Now if we compare that to the video on the left, you make a much, much more centered shoulder turn. Your head raises just a tad. We still aren't turning our shoulders quite steep enough, but your backswing, take a look at your leg action. Right knee straightening, left knee flexing, head staying more centered. Much, much more of a centered pivot or backswing on the picture on the right. I mean, notice how your back is still in line with the yellow box, and all the way down your left side, your left glute still sort of outside that box. So much improved with stabilizing your pivot and keeping your weight on the front leg or toward the target here. Okay, Eric, now you're going to see the video on the left I've replaced with a longtime PGA Tour player, Grant Wade. He's now an instructor to PGA Tour players, but he is pretty much the swing model for the pattern that I'm trying to teach you. I've drawn the same yellow box on him, extending from his ankles vertically to the top of his head, and you can see it set up. He's got quite a bit of his body mass outside the right portion of that box. I mean, your setup positions are very, very similar, so really, really nice job with that. The biggest difference is that he's able to put the club into motion, and he's able to straighten his right knee, let his left knee flex in at the ball. Take a look at his leg action. His left knee flexing in at the ball, right knee straightening, right hip turning high and back, and his shoulders are turning in a circle because they're turning on a steeper angle. At the top of his backswing, I mean, his body mass has not changed a slight bit in regards to that yellow box. It's almost identical to how it was at setup. His head is still fully entrenched in the box, and he still maintains that straight left arm radius. as compared to you, you're turning on a much flatter shoulder turn. You don't have enough side tilt, so your upper body mass is still being pulled toward your rear leg, and your low point is still slightly moving back. So here you are at the top of your backswing as compared to the top of Grant's backswing. Now I want you to notice something. You've turned your shoulders actually more than Grant has, because I can see more of your upper back. I mean, in this area as compared to him. And so it's not a flexibility issue with you. It's just more of a technique in getting and starting to learn and to feel how to move your body properly. So the biggest things I want you to continue to work on is, number one, not shifting that weight into that right side, keeping that 60% of that weight on that front leg, that left leg, both at address and throughout your backswing. Really feeling like your head's in a stationary position. And then secondly, and this is a pretty big deal, that left arm radius. We got to maintain that straight left arm radius, because that's really going to help you generate power and hit more solid golf shots. So I'll go ahead and finish with Grant's swing here. I'll notice at the change of direction how he presses into the ground. He pushes his hips forward. The weight's moving more and more and more forward as he approaches impact. And at impact, Grant has about 85% of his weight. Yes, I said 85% of his weight on his left foot. All great players demonstrate that as a characteristic of their swing at impact. So with you, Eric, when you're at impact, your weight is probably more along the lines of, you might have 60% on your left side, but not quite near enough. The hips need to be pushed further forward. You've got good shaft lean, so that's a good thing, but the hips need to be opening more, the shoulders need to be opening more, and the hips need to be pushed further forward the target. And your right leg should be straightening, and your right foot should be banking in, so that just past impact, you pretty much made an entire swing where your right foot didn't even come up off the ground. If you take a look here. And with Grant's right foot, you'll notice through impact, his starts to roll in. His right foot starts to roll in, and it starts to actually bank. He has all of his weight and all of his momentum moving in this direction. So, hope this helped you. We're on the right track, and I look forward to working with you again. But continue to practice your, what I would consider your fundamentals, and that's getting your weight forward at address, getting the handle forward at address. Really start putting the club into motion by feeling your left shoulder working down, your hands working in, your right knee straightening, your left knee flexing, and that will get you to the top. And that's pretty much where we'll pick up on your next lesson. Anyways, give me a call if you have any questions.